So we are on our first podcast, and we have here Lucy Aldridge, who is also a first-timers competitor in the September show, who also planned to do a show earlier this year, but was cancelled because of the current pandemic.
Yes.
So we are welcoming Lucy,
Hello.
and we just want, if you can, do a little introduction, who you are, and what class, etc. you were in for your first show.
Okay, so I was due to compete in June, so it was June the 13th, which was the first timers in Coventry, and I was in the toned figure category. Well, still am in the toned figure category. So yeah, first prep.
First prep. But you did prep previously for the June show, I take it, before.
Yeah, so I'd been on prep since November until, like, when did lockdown hit? Sort of March time.
So you had a little bit on prep, so you have a little understanding of the process.
Yeah, so I had like 4.5 months on prep. And then we decided obviously to put that on pause, maintain for a few weeks until gyms were sort of going to be, well, what we thought were going to reopen, and then like shows would then be back on. So yeah.
So Lucy, you are 22?
21.
21 now. So you're going to be doing your first show still at 21?
No, I'll be 22 in a month.
In a month, there we go.
At the end of this month, actually.
Hey, so it's nearly birthday time.
Birthday
so mine's
time.
actually in 4 weeks' time as well. So,
Is it?
Yeah.
Ooh,
So you're still very young for a first
Thanks.
time. Still very young, that's it.
Bring chickens.
How old were you when you sort of started the process of training and getting into bodybuilding as such?
So I'd probably say like 16
Quite young
when I
then.
started training. But when I actually started taking it seriously, I'd probably say like 18. I feel like most people, when they start training, they always have, a little bit of time of like seeing how they like it. They're getting into the groove of things. They're trying to find their rhythm.
Yeah,
and
you
then
sort of hit the gym when you want and
like
enjoy it when you're there, but
yeah, like I don't know about you. When did you start?
I was probably a bit older. I think I was
Yeah.
probably 18 when I first
Yeah.
started. I went to a gym maybe a couple of times before that
Mm.
when I was end of school with a couple of friends, maybe bench 30 kilo thinking we were amazing.
Yeah.
But when I actually started to think, I'm going to go to the gym to improve
Yeah.
my body, it was probably a bit later. It was probably 18, 19.
Yeah. Yeah. So it just takes a little bit of time to sort of see where you are and step it up a notch. So I'd probably say like taking it seriously was 18.
Which is probably a good age to start in a gym.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you have the time to sort of dedicate to training. So did you start 18, hitting the gym regularly?
Yeah, so I actually got a job in a gym at 17.
Okay.
So I was doing more classes and that side of things, but then like training on the side, and then it was only when I got to 18 that I started to focus more on my own training and then developing my own physique myself, because I didn't have a coach at the time, and yeah, just taking things as I could. Do you know what I mean? Training every day, and yeah, killing it really.
Killing it. So what you are, you certainly are. So you just did mention then about a coach.
Yeah.
So you have a coach?
I do indeed.
Yeah.
We have the same one.
We have the same coach, so yeah, I do know that. But what made you decide from the point of training, doing it yourself, that actually I need a coach?
Okay, so, well, we'll know this because I posted a Instagram picture, didn't I? That was my transformation. So
That was only yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah,
So
that was only, yeah.
we'll at the end put Lucy's Instagram on here so you can go and check it out, because it is a great post. It expresses a lot, so.
Yeah, thank you. So when I started, I'd probably just let myself go, just let it go. And we were in not a very nice headspace, so I knew that I needed someone to hold me accountable and essentially guide me through a journey that I was already guiding others through myself as a coach. So yeah, I decided to hire a coach, who I then changed to Jace after like 4 months.
Yeah.
4 months?
Yeah, because you had a coach before Jace as well. You didn't go straight to Jace to stay with Jace.
No, it was 2 months. It was 2 months because I was with Jace for 2 months before we stopped.
You are a coach and you have a great online business coaching people, but still you've decided to get a coach for yourself. And I think, I can relate to that as well, that when you use the word be accountable, it's about being accountable to someone as well, isn't it? Because it's very easy for yourself to let yourself go or overthink things for yourself and put your time into making yourself better rather than putting the time into your clients. Whereas when you've got a coach, even though you are one, they tell you what to do and you have no time involvement in yourself. You just adhere to what they say and trust the process, like your clients do for you.
Yeah, for sure. I think there was definitely this stigma around being a coach and getting a coach, and I didn't feel like it was necessarily other coaches that made me feel that way. It was more of like the general population of the question, like, yeah, but you're a coach, why are you getting a coach? Like, surely you can do it yourself, right? And it was like, no, I'm human, like I need someone to hold me accountable as well, because when times get hard, like knowing someone else is going to be looking over me and I've got to check in and I've got to do each step because I know that check-in is important and someone else is going to be looking at it, then it all makes sense. But then a general like lifestyle client themselves looking at me having a coach might be like, I don't quite understand it, but that's the reason, like just why they would get a coach is to be accountable and adhere to a program.
As well, as you say, going into other industries, I use a story quite a lot of, Tiger Woods has got a coach. Why does Tiger Woods need a coach for his golfing? He's the best in the world. Well, because they might see something that he's doing wrong that he doesn't realise, and it's about adhering to someone, and someone picks the best out of you because you can't do it yourself because you are your biggest critic. So
yeah, that's amazing. I've not heard that one before, but it is so true.
It's the same in every industry, isn't it? Even like billionaires have business coaches or have had in the past to get to where they are. So again, I think it's good expressing the point that even though you are a coach yourself for other people, doesn't mean that you have to coach yourself, and it's not wrong to then have a coach
absolutely
overlooking you. You've got some great lifestyle clients. Jace is a coach for you for what you're going into as a competition prep as well, so maybe they have a better understanding about how to coach you into a show to get you as prime as you can be for a show, whereas your clients aren't entering for a show, they're just more lifestyle at the minute.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will be the first to admit I have absolutely no idea what to do when it comes to a comp prep, because like you said at the beginning, we're both first timers and
we've
never done it before.
No,
yeah, exactly. So me going into like a peak week, I wouldn't have a fucking clue on what to do. So it just makes sense getting a coach and having that guidance all the way to help me get the best out of my show.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
And that's it. You're not looking to coach the 7 billion people in the world to get fitter and think you understand how to get everyone in shape. You've got your great lifestyle clients, and you say you don't necessarily have the full knowledge to be a prep coach. So
yeah, for sure.
That's why we've got coaches as we are as well, because we want to be the best we can be for that show, because that's what we're entering. But we can still completely transform someone's lifestyle and get them fitter with the knowledge we have. Yeah, it's not about being able to coach the world. I think we had this conversation, a bit earlier. Everyone is coachable, but not for the same coach. Yeah, and everyone has a different approach. So
yeah, that's it.
So
absolutely.
Did you go to Jace because you wanted to do a competition and thought I need to get a comp coach, or was it the other way around? Did you get a coach and then think, wow, I could probably do a competition?
So I actually went and I wanted to compete first, and then I set out looking for a comp prep coach.
Okay.
So yeah, I was in a bit of a rough shape after having a bit of a boozy couple of
Wild
months, to be
time.
honest. That's it, yeah. Rebellious few months. And yeah, I then just decided that I wanted to go into a comp. I say just decided, I wanted to do it for years.
Okay.
Like back when I said that I was training hard, from like 18, I've always wanted to do it, 17, 18. But then, like, it was never the right time. So, yeah, it came round to it, like, last year, November. I was out of shape. I'd let myself go, and I just thought, oh, I want to compete. Like, it's about time. Otherwise, it'll be too late. And I then set on my journny on finding the perfect prep coach.
Yeah, which is not an easy task.
No, it's not. It's not. And like I said, I've had 2, but I'm so happy with Jason at the moment. So, yeah.
You need that connection
Yeah.
to make it work. See, I was the complete opposite. Never. This time last year, July, if you'd have asked me, would you get on stage? You know, I'd laugh at you and say absolutely not. So I've been with Jace for around nearly a year now. Done my little transformation, a 12-week cut, and then thought, wow, actually, I liked how I pushed my body then.
Yeah.
Then aspired to some great physiques that have been on stage and thought, Jace, can you get me to that? And that's how that came about. So again, I don't think you have to have a coach just because you want to do a competition prep. Get into some sort of great shape and then change your mindset on
absolutely
getting on stage.
And I think that's such an important point to make, because I think a lot of people out there will think that that's not necessarily the path that you should go down.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think maybe I need to go and get a coach for comp prep and decide that first, when actually if you invest in a coach and want a transformation as it is, a competition might be the natural progression from that.
Exactly, yeah.
That's really cool, a cool point.
So we're just going to talk briefly about your class. So we said tone figure.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not everyone listening will understand what toned figure is, so
yeah,
give us a quick overview of toned figure and what it's about.
Okay, so I had no idea going into it what class I would be in.
You just know you wanted to compete?
I just knew I wanted to compete, so I had no idea. I was like, just get me on stage, show me the tan and get me on stage.
That's the best bit. Get me tan.
Yeah, but yeah, so I actually spoke to my first coach and I sent over some pictures of what I was currently looking like, and he then made the judgment from those and said I would be best in a category like toned figure, because at that time I was holding too much muscle mass by the looks of it for bikini or any other category, not enough to go into a category that was suited for more muscle mass, if that makes sense. So toned figure is like a toned down version of figure in general, right? So there's several categories within the, and toned figure is the smaller one of them all.
Yeah.
Is my understanding anyway. This is the first time I'm speaking, so if any pros are listening and they're like, oh my god,
this is what this podcast is about. It's like getting people to understand that they don't have to have the knowledge of the people they aspire to and watch that have got 9 years, 10 years experience to contemplate doing a show or enter a show.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're a first time show for a reason, and they are out there for you to do.
Yeah.
Because we're not sitting here saying we have a million years knowledge on our classes and what we're doing.
Yeah.
But we are motivated to do a show, and it's a great opportunity for us to be able to get into the sport.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. And I think, there is this like misconception that you've got to sort of know everything going into it and have a crystal clear vision on knowing exactly who's who and da-da-da. And honestly, I struggle with knowing who's in the I should be looking up to, because I've not been in the bodybuilding space for so long. So I think that this podcast is such a great thing, and it is going to help people going into shows and stuff. So yeah.
And that's it. You can find yourself, like you've just explained. You went to a coach not knowing what class you wanted. So having a prep coach will then help you to make that decision for you, so you haven't got to worry about it. They know what's best for you by looking at your body. They don't take long to look at your body.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just down to you. I could probably look at other people, and you could probably look at other people, even your own lifestyle clients, and think, if they were to do a show, I'd know what class I'd put them in.
Yeah.
But for yourself, it's quite a big thing. You want to make the right decision, so maybe leave it to someone to make that decision for you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that classes are stuck. Once you enter one class, you can never change again. You know, you can always grow or train to then get to a different class if that's what you wanted. So sort of leads me on to like my next point is your training program and split.
Yeah.
I feel it's different to how bikini girls train, for example. So like, what is your current split for training?
So my current split is, in fact, it's just changed today.
Oh, okay.
It has just changed
because
today.
of prep?
Yeah. So I was on upper, lower, and an extra glute session in there. So
is that something they look for then in figure, the glute area?
Yeah, just legs in general.
Okay.
Nice quad sweep. Yeah. Hamstrings and then the glutes, but it's not as, what's the word? Dominant as it would be in like a wellness class.
Okay.
If you know what I'm trying to say. But yeah, so I would do Monday, legs, Tuesday, upper, shoulders focused, Wednesday, rest, Thursday, legs, Friday, upper, back focused.
Yeah. And
then Saturday would be glutes, like a top-up session, and then Sunday would be rest. But we've now changed it to 2 on, 1 off.
Right, okay.
So rather than that three block from Thursday to Saturday, it's now going to change, so it's 2 on, 1 off, 2 on, 1 off. Just because we found that my recovery and my rest wasn't as good, and we weren't maximising on rest as much as we should have. So
I think that's a really important point, and I think people sometimes feel, oh, they're on a 6-day split, training 6 days a week. Oh, I've got to do that because otherwise I'm not training hard enough. Rest is so important to let the body rest and recover.
It's probably one of the most overlooked thing amongst especially beginners, because I think a lot of people go into this and they're like, in order for me to get this physique, I need to be smashing everything all the time. Like I was saying at the beginning, I was killing it, but I mean killing it as in literally training 7 days a week, every day, giving myself no rest, because I was under the impression that in order for me to change my physique, I needed to go balls to the wall every session, every day, and train for 2 hours. But now I look back and I think, 1, how the hell did I do that?
Yeah.
2, my progression wasn't as good as it could have been because I wasn't allowing my body to rest. And I think it is such an important thing, and it's something that needs to be monitored extremely closely, because if you're not recovering, if you're not maximising your rest, and it's going to be a downfall. That's in a sense.
And it's an easy trap to fall into, isn't it? You know, we strive to be the best we can be. So every day you wake up, when you're not feeling that you are doing your best, you just want to go and train and think you're going to grow because you're going to train. But it's not always the case. And I think it's a great point to put across, is that you don't have to be in a gym 24/7. Listen to your body, and if you are feeling tired, fatigued, unrested, be honest with your coach as well and let them know, rather than just overlook it, think I'll be okay, I'll get through to next week and I'll be okay, is to explain how you feel, because we are all different and we can all have different rest periods. Some people can train really hard 6 days a week and they get away with it. I was on a 6-day split and I didn't feel too bad, but when I went into prep I went down to same as you, went 3 on, 1 off, 2 on, 1 off, so maybe like an extra day, but still over the period of time it added an extra rest day in, a couple of rest days a month, which is enough to aid recovery for me, better in prep than what it was before. So in your toned figure class, do you have someone that motivates you in the class? What inspires you when to think I need to look like that, or I want to look like that? Do you have a certain person, or is there a certain look around a few people? Do you look at the Olympians and think that's my inspiration, or is it set lower at the minute?
So at the moment, I haven't looked any further really than my show. And
I think that's really good.
I think if I was to be completely honest, I feel like there's such a big thing around what's your main goal? Oh, I want to get an IFBB pro card, or I want to be a pro, or I want to just get on the Olympia stage. But for me personally, and I don't know about you, getting on stage for the first time is an achievement in itself.
100%.
And I think for me to go through this process and get on stage is going to be, well, I'm going to learn so many lessons, and I'm going to learn if I actually like it.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we could get on stage and we could get to the end of it and think, I never want to do this again in my life.
And it's a story you've heard, but sometimes gets overlooked.
For sure. For sure. Like, I've heard of it. You've heard of it.
Yeah.
And I think it's like this pressure of what's your goal? Oh, you don't want an IFBB pro card. Oh, okay. And it's like, well, no, because I don't actually know what I want.
No, at the end of the day,
I don't know if I like it.
Time.
Yeah, like I don't know if I'm going to enjoy it. I don't know if I'm going to do well in my category, or whether I'm going to have to either downsize or maybe go up. Like it really is just all, yeah, like we said, it's our first time. So yeah, but in terms of like anyone that I look up to and figures and people that I figures that motivate me in the industry, I'd probably say Chloe Pickford. I love her physique. I think her physique is incredible, and I don't believe she's a pro. Like, celebrity status, no disrespect to her, but I think her physique is insane, and I aspire to look somewhat like that, if that makes sense. Yeah, she's...
But then that's a stepping stone to the road that can be quite a long road to Olympia.
Yeah, for sure. But what about yourself? Do you have any...
So, yeah, for me, it's a little bit different, I think. Whereas I do I watch a lot of the times for inspiration, the Olympia shows.
Yeah.
On YouTube, watch them over and over again, see them come on stage, I think, wow. Yeah. Obviously, I'm men's physique. I haven't mentioned that yet. I think that's quite an easy decision for me, looking at my size. Yeah. I didn't decide my class, but I was pretty damn sure that's the class I was going to be put in by my coach. But yeah, so I'm happy with the look. I think it's a great look anyway, men's physique. Although I have the utmost respect for classic and bodybuilding. Mm-hmm. I think.
Agreed.
When you understand the sport, the dedication, what it takes to get a body like that is far more than what a lot of people understand. I think
this is really interesting. I love that point you've just made, actually, because I think there's a stigma around bodybuilding.
100%. I think before you even say it, I could probably say it, but go on.
Yeah, and there is this stigma, and what it is, oh my God, what? Do you want to be one of them that gets tanned and like prance around on stage in the undies?
Yeah.
And it's something that I think is thrown around without actually knowing what has gone into that person's journey.
A very humble and very well disciplined, dedicated, respectful person to get to that anywhere near that point, let alone the Olympia stage. Yeah.
It's insane, isn't it? And it is incredible. And like you were just saying, I have the biggest respect for anybody that can get on stage. Whether they win, whether they don't, whether they get to Olympia or not, like the actual process. And again, I've not even got on stage yet, but the process that I've been through already, can I swear?
Yeah.
It's fucking hard. Like, it's really fucking hard. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. Like, it's fucking hard. And if you haven't been through it, and if you haven't done a prep, again, I haven't done a full prep yet, so I've not even got to those last stages. Whereas yourself, you got 2 weeks out.
Yeah, like I say, I got to 2 weeks out. I'm touching on your point as we don't actually know if we're going to enjoy it yet. I mean, I got to 2 weeks out, and like you say, that was fucking hard. And that was one of the hardest things for me. But I'm back on prep now. So clearly I have some sort of want to do it because I've made that decision, and highly motivated decision, to go back and prep again. So it's probably, I'd say, we've never stepped on stage, and it might be completely different when we're actually on stage, but I think I have got a very large respect and love for the sport. Because I've decided, and you have decided, to go back on prep again.
Yeah. It is hard, but I think it's so worth it when you start to see those massive physical changes, and especially for yourself, looking where you came from right at the start before
we've
your
both
12
got
week
transformation pictures, which are pretty crazy.
Questionable. But it is an amazing journey, yet you have to have so much self-discipline and so much like commitment, both mentally, physically, but also in your social circle. You're getting so many temptations potentially, and you're going to have to say no to so many social events and all this sort of thing. But again, you don't see that when you step on stage. No. Like, people don't see that when they see the pictures of Olympia or whatever, and they're very quick to make this judgment. And I can't actually remember where we were going with this point, but I was talking about the stigma, wasn't I? But
that's the thing. I think the point of this podcast is, if you've ever thought about not even competition prep, but to lose weight or to get in that sort of shape is a completely different lifestyle, and it's something that you might turn your nose up at now, but you do kind of want the body these people have. But it's something that you need to jump on the journey and the bandwagon and experience it for yourself to really realise whether you do want it or not, rather than just judge and think, oh, that's easy, I could do that if I wanted, because not everyone can.
Yeah, no, it's not for everyone.
No.
It takes a lot for a person to even just make the decision and commit themselves to a prep, let alone to complete the prep.
Yeah.
So let's hope we both get on stage now.
So we are both, for your info, doing the same show now. I mean, I was planned for April, you were planned for June, so we were going to be doing first timers, but both at different times. But now of our pandemic, we will be at the same show this year, which is planned currently for September the 29th, which puts us 12 and a half weeks out. I think 12 weeks out on our next check-in. Yeah,
which is tomorrow.
So we will be 12 weeks out. Wow, this week's gone quick.
Yeah. 12 weeks out tomorrow.
Obviously, you haven't done a full prep. So from hearsay or things you've been told, what is your expectation of prep? Of how... I'm going to leave it there. I'm not even going to suggest things to you. What is your expectation of prep? That's the question.
I'd like to know your thoughts on this as well.
Yeah, I'll go with mine after.
I mean, you've already done one, but my expectations of prep is that it's going to be hard.
Yeah. Simple as.
Like, going into this, I'm expecting this to be the hardest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
And to mentally push me through places that I've never been before, and put my body through things that I've never put it through before, and to come out of this prep being stronger. Not necessarily physically. Because I'll feel like a string bean, but actually coming out knowing that I am able to do what I've wanted to do, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for me it does, and I understand what you're
saying. And that's my expectation of prep. Whether it will live up to its expectations, I don't know. And I kind of hope that it doesn't end up being as hard as I think, because I'm expecting it to be really, really hard. But I'm willing to do what it takes, really. So, what are your expectations on it?
Again, if you're going to sum it up in one word, it's got to be hard.
Yeah.
But I think for me, the way in which my body's going to change will motivate me through that hard times. And you'll have your ups and downs as well. When we say hard, it's not you wake up in the morning and life's hard from get-go. It might be hard when you get hungry, which Some days might be really hungry, other days might not. And that's what you hear from people, I think. I think my point of what I want to get across is people think it's boring as well, prep. As in, you go on to prep and you're on shit food, the same food every day, which is true. But it doesn't have to be boring. And it's the journey of seeing your body change isn't a boring journey. So you might be eating the same food or limited food, but the way you wake up and you have your check-in pictures and they change and you see yourself getting that physique you've almost dreamed of makes it not boring throughout the journey and makes the hard times worth it. But my one expectation of prep is lack of sleep.
Oh, yeah.
So
I never got to that stage.
I don't know if you got to that stage.
No.
So I can't really be speaking from a first-timer point of view because I did get close, but lack of sleep was one thing I was told about, didn't really understand, but now definitely understand.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, see, now you've said that, I remember, but I've never got to the point where that's been an issue.
But so how far out were you last time?
So it was, shows were cancelled at around about, well, when were they cancelled? Like mid-March, weren't they?
15, 14 weeks out?
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, I want to say like 16 to 14.
Okay, so quite far.
So, yeah. I'm now the closest I've ever been.
Oh, wow.
So.
And we're still getting good sleep.
Woo!
So, all right.
And the sleep's still fine. But I know I have been supplemented melatonin.
For that reason.
Yeah, because sleep, for me, as much as it was good, I don't get a lot of it because I wake up early and I end up being wired until later at night. So I might get, say, between 4 and 6 hours sleep. So for me, the priority is to make sure that those 6 hours of sleep,
I think that's a really good point.
Is crucial.
Is them 4 to 6 hours of sleep are a solid sleep.
Yeah, and so for me, again, I don't know about yourself, like when prep comes, if I'm not going to be able to sleep during the night, will I be able to make time during the day? Or is it going to be that I can't sleep at all?
Yeah.
Or I don't really know what to expect now with that. I know obviously you just brought it up, but I completely forgot about that part.
There you go, I reminded you.
So,
fantastic.
Brilliant.
So you understand, like, when you hear, again, this podcast is from a beginner's perspective. You hear about the IFBB pros, etc., who manage to train in the morning, for example, then have a sleep, they've made it successful, and they're able to train or have their online clients, etc., and that is their life, which is what I almost aspire to, I would say. But for us, I mean, I work a job during the day. I don't think I'd get away with having a nap because I'm on prep each day for 8 weeks, but so that I have to.
I wish.
For you, and I think for us, we have to make sure that we get quality sleep when we can in the night. So, but I know running up to the show, I was on 4 to 5 hours on a good night.
Oh my god!
But then again, I don't get much more off in the off season either.
Yeah, it's all good things coming.
So we're going to jump on to the next question, which is if you know anyone competing in your class at the same show as you.
No.
No?
I don't know.
So this is similar for me. I'm in the men's short physique. So I know of a couple of people in tall physique, but I don't think I actually know anyone in men's short physique. So this is a little shout out to anyone listening who may be doing some figure at the September first time show or the short men's physique. Drop us a message. We got a friend.
Literally, please. I don't mean to be a beg, but please, my Instagram is.
Yes, so we'll have that at the end.
But no, I'm the same with you. I know another girl doing bikini at the same show, and potentially 2 girls doing bikini at the same show, but I don't know anybody else that would be in my category. So
I think Jace has got a good solid team of across the board going in different classes, both males and females, which is a great community to be in. We're all at the same stage of prep, whether that be 12 weeks out now, 8 weeks, 4 weeks, peak week, where you can all relate to how we're feeling. And I think that's what we'll do with this podcast, is continue that on through the weeks of running up to prep and how, as we are first timers, we're sat here 12 weeks out feeling really good. Maybe in 6 weeks' time we won't be feeling as good, or maybe we'll be feeling better. And that's what this is about, is for people to understand the process from a beginner's view. So we've covered your training split. I want to just jump on another big factor, and that is your macros, your food.
Okay.
I know Lucy said this to me earlier, and I
you were shocked.
I wasn't impressed with her answer. But what macros are we on, Lucy, going into prep?
I don't know.
She doesn't know. But I do watch a lot of YouTube videos where a lot of people don't know the macros are on. And again, I think that's because you have so much trust, should we say, and respect for your coach that you know what food you eat and quantity of food you eat for each meal, but you don't actually sit there and work out the macros for it.
Like I said to you earlier when we were having this discussion, I put my trust in Jace as my coach, and I trust that he's going to make the right decision for my progress. And I personally feel like there's no need for me to know, because especially when my calories are going to get lower, I feel like the mindset of knowing how low they are will be not necessarily off-putting, but will always be in the back of my mind, like, oh my God, I'm on this many calories. Oh my God, I'm on this many calories. And if I just don't know them and I just know the food that I'm on and the food that I have to eat, then, do you know what I mean?
I think that's a good point.
I just want to know what to do, when to do it. That's me done.
That's a really good point, and almost something I think I'm going to take away from this conversation, because I am, again, the opposite with it, whereas I know exactly what macros I'm on. Yeah,
explain your viewpoint on this, because I find it interesting how particular you are with this whole like macro thing.
So see, from my perspective is, I use MyFitnessPal all the time, track everything I eat, scan everything. I make sure all my food is weighed out on point. If it's 130 grams from Jace, it's not 129, it's not 131, it's 130. I track all my supplements, Pepsi Max, got 1 calorie in, I still add it to MyFitnessPal. That was my approach, so I know exactly what macros I'm on. And again, like I said to you, your approach is that you trust Jace. It's not that I don't trust Jace, because I 100% adhere to what he says. So if I didn't trust him, he'd give me the meal plan and I'd think that's wrong. I'd only track it because I'm intrigued as to what I'm on. But maybe it does add another mental barrier for me closer to prep, when actually I do put in the food he gives me and go, shit, 1,200 calories. I'm not going to be able to train on that. Maybe that's a barrier I don't need to understand. It's definitely a point I can definitely take away and think about, is that if he just gives me quantities of food, I know what food I'm eating, so I'm going to eat it, but I don't know how low I'm actually getting. Or maybe that's not the case, maybe I'm still high. But that's almost another barrier for some people, thinking, shit, my friend over there, which we haven't got because we don't know anyone in our class, he's got 850 calories in their program 10 weeks out, and I'm on 1,800. God, I'm going to be huge compared to them. But it's not always the case, is it? It's so individual. And
I mean, I hope they're not on 850 calories at 10 weeks out, but no, but so it, and again, I feel like this is completely dependent on the person, absolutely dependent on the person, and I just think it completely depends on how you see food and how you would react to knowing the changes that are being made, if that makes sense. For me, I know when my food would drop, I'd be like, oh God, my calories have dropped like this much. Oh God, that means that I'm probably going to be lower in energy at this time because this meal is lower in calories. And I would then overthink it, which is why I just choose not to know.
I think that's a great point, because I think probably worth a discussion, because it could be a long one for a different podcast, but the stigma around relationship with food in bodybuilding is a whole different ball game. I think it's probably a good point for another podcast. It can be quite a challenging thing. So again, with your approach as, I don't know, I don't really care, I'm just eating what I'm eating, I feel good. If I don't feel good, I tell my coach I don't feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the point. Whereas with me, I don't think I've got a problem with my relationship with food.
Mm-hmm.
So me tracking the food doesn't make me think badly of it. It's just I'm intrigued to understand what I'm on.
And I think but that's completely okay.
Yeah. So I think that's why we're saying it's down to the individual.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to track your calories because you're going to worry about them,
yeah,
and that's a mental barrier you do not need going into prep.
Yeah, for sure. It's just all about putting yourself in a position that you know that you could probably cope best in. Does that make sense? So yeah, like you said, it's completely person dependent. Because
I guess at no point have you worried and think, I need to know what calories I'm on, because you haven't tracked it. Whereas for me, it's just a natural instinct to, new plan, I'll write that down. I wonder what I'm on, wonder how many come out. Doesn't make me think, shit, I've lost 20 grams of protein this week. I'm going to be tidy, I don't have that. Yeah, literally. That's it. That's almost the whole protein check. No, it's we have that relationship, and everyone's different. So I think it's a good point to put across. Don't worry what Tom, Dick, and Harry have got going into prep, because it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we don't want this to be too long, because it probably already is. I hope you're all still listening. But have we got a couple of questions that we can answer that were posted to you today?
Yeah, I got some. Have you got some?
I've got a couple.
Ooh, okay.
Just a couple.
Go on then. Do you want to hit me with one first, or do you want me to hit you with one first?
I'm going to hit you with one first.
Okay.
So a good question here is, what would you say is the most challenging part in transforming your body for a show? The physical push and training to grow, or the mental boundaries that come along with it?
So for me personally, I would say mental barriers that come along with it. And I would say the reason being is because I think mental barriers obviously fits into a broader spectrum, and it not just the struggles of going to train or eating your meals. It literally is when you cannot be arsed and you've still got to go and train.
But that is the thing, isn't it, as well?
Yeah. And
we're not motivated every day.
No.
We're normal people.
No, yeah, literally. Like, I wake up some days and I'm literally like, I cannot be asked to get out of bed and go and do my morning cardio.
Yeah.
Or, we've spoken about this before, but I'm always doing cardio at like 10:30 at night.
Yeah.
Can I be asked doing it? No, not all the time, but do I do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And when I'm doing 30 minutes on the Stairmaster or whatever, do I necessarily want to be there? No. But is it going to get me to where I want to be? Yes. Is it necessary? Yes. So will I do it? Yes. And that's the difference. But yeah, definitely mental barriers, because
you don't actually struggle with the Stairmaster doing it. It's not as though I really want to go on the Stairmaster and it be a physical barrier to do it and achieve the 30 minutes on it. It's the mental barrier of getting there to do it.
Yeah, that was perfect. Absolutely. What about yourself?
Again, for me, once I'm in the gym, I don't struggle to push the weight around, or I certainly haven't ever, maybe once or twice, struggled with the cardio. We do quite a lot of cardio going to the end of prep. It's the mental barrier of, shit, today I've got 1.5 hour session in the gym and an hour's cardio to do, and to fit it in my day, because we've got a day job, etc., I have to get up at 5:30 and get to the gym to do the Stairmaster. That can be challenging. Once I'm there, not a problem. It's the run up. So we're in the same. As soon as I read that question, I would have straight away gone with mental boundaries.
Yeah. And even like we just talked about training, but there's then the complete other side of it, like with nutrition and meal prep.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know about you when you do your meal prep, but for me, I have to do it nearly every day.
Yeah, for sure. I would say almost every other day, I meal prep.
And it's not like a big Sunday night job. It is genuinely a big Sunday night job, and then every day in between, we're making sure that we've obviously topped up, or make sure that we've got...
It's almost the game of making sure you got the food there as well.
Yeah. Like, it's hard mentally to keep organised, to keep yourself prepared, and mentally hard to not fuck up, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And then that's another pressure, another boundary that you've got to try and come over. And so that answers that question.
That's that answer. And we both agree, and I think, almost if you are listening, drop your point across for that question, because
Yeah, I'd love to know.
I think we'd both like to know other people's perspective on that. So
yeah. Okay, cool. I'm going to ask you a question. So one of the questions was, how did you get in the right mindset for training? From going and training in the gym every day to training in lockdown. Has it been tough?
I think for everyone it's been tough. Mine, I guess, and you. My life is the gym. That's what I spend my downtime almost doing. As much as it's difficult, it's my downtime. It's my relief. It's my stress relief. Getting to the gym was the best part of my day, whether it be off season or on season. So to then have that taken away and be unprepared, living in a flat with no gym equipment because I don't have room for a gym in my flat. And then to see the spike in prices, etc., trying to get hold of stuff was... The first week was the toughest, where you think, how long is this lockdown going to go on for? I'm going to have no gym equipment. How on earth am I going to keep my gains? That was literally going through me. Yeah, there wasn't one question to it. It was like, oh my God, look, there's a pizza. I might as well just eat that. No, I didn't. But and it was definitely the community around me that kept me motivated. It was seeing other people... When you're feeling shit about it all, going and getting some weights, trying something new. And I think that's where social media really helped me. Some people were negative on it, but for me, I had in my flat, because I was selling them at the time, some alloy wheels. They were 25 kilo a piece. I was like, brilliant. That would have cost me £400 in dumbbells. Yeah. And I've got them set there for free. So, I was trying different things with them. And then I was lucky enough to get in contact with LRF, Lean Results Fitness, who lent me some equipment. So things started to get better, and you'll be surprised when you put mind to muscle how much you can train at home. Doesn't mean I miss the gym. I can't wait to get back. I think most people can't wait to get back. But you certainly can not just lose and go off the spectrum and think lockdown's ruined me, because you can train and you can stick to your plan. And there's 6, 7, 8 other factors to, like we say, with the nutrition and everything and cardio. It's not just about pushing weight and getting the biggest dumbbells out. There's so many other factors that we could control without a gym. Yeah, it was tough. First week was tough, but the community helped me, supported me, and motivated me to keep going. And that's what we've done. I think I had quite a successful lockdown. Yeah. In terms of body.
No, I think that's...
But for you, any different?
Yeah, so I actually I've been so lucky throughout this lockdown. I say lucky, none of it was really luck because I've worked for it. But I'm so grateful to have my own gym that I've been able to train in. So in terms of actually training, one of the main struggles for me was being in an empty gym, which is my own, and seeing my business the way it was. And I know that sounds...
That's a really good point, actually.
I know it's not sad, but it is sad. It is really sad. And I think people, especially sort of at the start and throughout the middle of lockdown, were very passive, and it was like, yeah, but you're so lucky though, having a gym to train in and all this. But actually for me, getting motivated to go to the gym, getting in that mindset for training was hard, because I had to go to an empty gym where none of my members were allowed. It sort of felt guilt.
Yeah, for sure.
I felt guilty that I shouldn't be there because no one else can be there. And as much as I was grateful that I still had the opportunity to train and use some weights, and a lot of the weights had been hired out because we lent out most of the kit. Well, I say most of the kit, all of the kit that we could. So I'm there with my sports bag trying to create some weight in it so I can use it as a plate on the side of a bloody thing. And again, like you were saying, we were trying to get creative and do all this, but in terms of actually going into training, it was still just as hard. I feel it was just that I'm grateful that I've had the equipment to use. So yeah, it's been hard, but then I think it boils down to how bad do you want it.
Exactly.
And you'll do anything if you want it that bad enough, right?
For sure, exactly. Control all the factors you can, and unless you're doing that, you don't want it enough. I think we'll do another question. We'll do one more question.
Oh, which ones have you got? Have you got any?
No, you whack out a question.
All right, okay. We've already covered that one. That was how did you know which class to compete in? Hang on.
It's good that we've covered most of these already.
Yeah.
Good preparation.
So, how do you find the right balance between cardio and weight training? So for me, and for yourself, I think we can have two answers for this.
Yeah.
One being that we don't. Our coach tells us.
Exactly, yeah.
But then our second answer would be, as coaches ourselves, how would we find the right balance for our client, right? And for me, I will always try and make sure that my client has as many calories as they possibly can and use cardio as a tool to create a deficit, but keep cardio also not over the top and put it keep it in a position where I can then increase it if I need to, if they come to a stall, like a weight loss stall, for example, and then also use weight training to aid that. Or I think it completely depends on the goal, but that's what I would do as a coach, if that makes sense.
I agree, yeah.
But in terms of me personally, I just let Jace do the...
I think it's the same for me, isn't it? You know, I don't specify to Jace, Jace, this week, can you set my training around having 40 minutes cardio? Because he'd probably tell me to F off. But,
yeah,
he sets it. But then again, for me as a coach, does this person feel comfortable going into a gym if they're a lifestyle client? Have they ever had a gym membership before? In which case, I'm not going to say, do 20 minutes cardio a day and then go and train 6 days a week in the gym, because they're probably not going to do it.
Yeah.
So the balance is certainly independent to the person.
For sure. And it is so circumstantial
as well. Yeah.
So circumstantial. So again, like I was saying, if their goal is weight loss, then that balance is going to be very different to if it was like muscle gain.
Building, yeah.
And they wanted to build some muscle and do whatever. Like it is completely person dependent. So yeah, I know the person that's asked this question asked this one before and I never answered it. So yeah, I hope that she's listened to this, and if she needs any help, then message either one of us, because we could probably help her out a little bit more.
As a personal preference, just jumping on it then, and including not just training and cardio, but I prefer to have more food, complete more cardio, than I would to do less cardio and lower food. Personal preference. Complete 60 minutes cardio rather than 20, and them extra 200 calories I burn have as food.
Completely agree.
So glad we agree on that.
Because how much cardio are you on at the moment?
So going 12 weeks out, I'm 45 minutes.
45 minutes daily?
Daily, 7 days a week.
Okay, cool. And then my cardio at the moment is so we split my AM and PM sessions.
Okay, so you split your cardio?
Yeah, and I do 30 in the morning, 25 in the evening, and macros.
Unknown.
Macros not applicable.
I'm actually going to work them out for Lucy, just as a mental note for me.
I think there may be around 1,004, maybe 1,500.
Okay. At the 12-week out stage for competition prep.
Yeah.
So again, I think that's a good perspective. It doesn't matter about the number of calories. It is person dependent.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I know my calories aren't massively high, whereas you can compare yourself to friends doing competitions that are nearly on double the calories you're on, achieving the same goals. So again, interesting. Like I say, I find it interesting. That's why I'm intrigued to find them out, work them out. But I don't go, how comes I'm on this and they're on that? Because it's completely irrelevant. And I think people need to understand that. I think we'll wrap it up there, but we want to thank Lucy for jumping on the first podcast for the Yes to Fitness podcast. And how can the audience get hold of you on social media or your gym? So my Instagram handle is Lucy_Aldridge, spelt ALD, not OLD. Some people get that mixed up. Thanks very much for having me. That's the main contact for Lucy, so there you go. And no problem at all. Thanks for joining in, and maybe we'll catch up again closer to prep, depending on how we're feeling. Maybe do another podcast
Yep.
about our experience through prep. Probably be a shorter one, maybe with a few more questions from you guys. But yeah, thanks for listening, and we shall catch up again soon.
Awesome.